What's up everybody, it's me Eman, and today we're gonna review Annabelle Creation. The hell? Oh, no. Alright, let's get started with a quick intro. Several years after the tragic death of their little girl, a doll maker and his wife welcome several orphans into their home. Later, they all find out that the girls have become the target of the doll maker's possessed creation, Annabelle. Okay, let's get into the good.
The good.
First of all, I gotta give props to the director, David F. Sanberg. I think he's actually elevated his game as a director in this film. One of the best aspects of this film was the use of shadows. The camera work does a really good job of having the audience play around with shadows and really just letting your imagination run wild. That's always a really great technique for horror films because we can just end up scaring ourselves without you having to make stuff pop out of the shadows. I especially like this technique because we really don't see the evil entity in its full form, which is fine because we really don't need to always see what the monsters look like completely. Oh, and as a side note, the evil spirit in this movie was so disrespectful. Now, the director also did a really good job of utilizing the sound to really impact the scary moments in this movie. I think it's also fair to say that he executed some very good jump scares throughout the movie. Thankfully, they weren't entirely predictable, and even if you do see them coming, they're still pretty scary. Now, when it came to the actual haunting of the house and everything, I loved how it was really random. There really wasn't just one way that this evil spirit haunted the house. Not only that, a lot of times when the hauntings would happen, it leaves you as an audience member feeling a little bit out of control, just like the characters. I mean, it's kind of crazy. You either have to watch the madness that's happening, or you just have to turn away and cover your eyes. Not that I did that, of course. Another cool thing that the film does is that it gives you a couple Easter eggs and hints of past characters and potentially future stories that will be told later. More specifically, Annabelle connects some of the stories that happened in the past Conjuring movies. So you might feel a little compelled to go rewatch The Conjuring after watching Annabelle Creation. Okay, enough of that, let's get on to the bad.
The bad.
Now, it's not the worst thing in the world, but I was a little disappointed with some of the foreshadowing that happened throughout this movie. So, for example, you might see a certain scene where the camera focuses on a certain object, a character might look at that object, they get a little pre-spooked out by that object, and then later on we see that object pop back up into the story. Now, I completely understand the need for foreshadowing and setups in movies. It's just that in certain scenes of this film, I kind of wish that it was just done in a little bit more creative way. Now, for most horror movies, it's really hard not to have certain plot devices that happen to help push the story along, but unfortunately those plot devices will also make us do an entire eye roll too. So for example, I wasn't really happy with the character Sam Mullins because while the actor's performance was fine, I just thought that the writing for the character fell a little bit short. I mean, you'll probably notice it, but it's just certain moments where the character acts surprised or has certain reactions when they hear certain news. And for whatever reason, it just feels out of place and disingenuous. And of course, with any horror film, you're always gonna have the certain characters who still feel the need to go investigate things that they know they have no business to go investigate. Or worst of all, they still feel curious and want to investigate things after they've seen the craziest stuff they've ever seen and should have been convinced to run away a long time ago. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Linda. All right, enough of that, let's get to the reason.
The reason.
Now, Annabelle Creation left me rather impressed. Now, James Wan has done some really great horror films, especially with the Insidious and the Conjuring movies. However, the spin-offs were kind of lackluster. I wasn't really a big fan of the previous movie Annabelle, so going into Annabelle Creation, I wasn't really expecting very much. Not to mention, David Sanberg as a director didn't really leave me wowed after his last movie, Lights Out. While I thought Lights Out had a really nice original concept, I just didn't think it was executed very well and it felt very formulaic and cheesy and basic. But this? Annabelle Creation? Well, I think Sanberg gets it. Annabelle Creation has given me a new sense of hope for future spin-off movies in this universe that they've already created. I mean, Warner Brothers has done with this Conjuring movie franchise similar to what Marvel has done with their cinematic universe. Now, this is what the Dark Universe from Universal Pictures should have been like, because next up, we've got The Nun coming out. Now, in case if you were a little confused about the timelines that happen within the movies of this Conjuring universe, let me just explain it. The order goes The Nun, Annabelle Creation, Annabelle, The Conjuring, and then The Conjuring 2. So when it comes to the rating for Annabelle Creation, I've got to give it an 8 out of 10. As you could probably tell, Annabelle Creation is a pretty good horror movie in my opinion. I also think it's definitely worth the watch in theaters. Now, just a word of caution, don't make the same mistake that I made. I went to see the movie in a theater by myself. It was dark. Loud noises and stuff are happening all around me. It's just not a good situation, and you might need to bring a change of underwear. Well, that's all I got. Thank you for joining me. What did you think about Annabelle Creation? Do you think it was better than the last Annabelle movie? Does it make you actually want to go back and rewatch The Conjuring? Let me know what you thought about the film in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, or share this video if you enjoyed it. If you want to connect with me, come and join the other 33,000 Facebook followers on my Facebook fan page. We talk about trailers, movies, news, all that good stuff. I got more reviews and videos to do for you all, and until next time, I'll see you later.